When I was 10 years old, I drowned in a lake. I was gone for 8 minutes. No pulse, no breathing. The doctor said it was a miracle I survived without brain damage, let alone survived at all. My parents called it divine intervention. They were religious folk, after all. But I wasn't the same after that day. Not just because of the flashbacks, or the fact I stopped going near water entirely. Hell, I couldn't even shower for weeks after. I know, gross. But something else was wrong. I stopped sleeping. Completely. At first, the doctors thought it was trauma. My body was flooded with adrenaline, making rest impossible. They ran tests, kept me overnight in sleep studies, even put electrodes on my head to monitor brain activity. But the results just confused them. My brain acted like it was sleeping. It cycled through REM patterns. My body entered the rhythms of someone in a deep sleep. But I was awake, fully aware of every passing second, every moment, every movement around me. I should have been exhausted, delirious, unable to function. But I wasn't. I never felt tired. I never needed sleep. It should have been a real gift. That's what people told me when I got older. Imagine all the time you have now, they said. No wasted hours. And think of all the hobbies. But they don't understand. They don't know what happens when a person is awake for too long. Because we're not supposed to be. Because there are things in this world that only come out when we sleep. And if you stop sleeping, they notice. At first, it was small things. I'd see flickers in my peripheral vision, shadows that disappeared when I turned my head round. I thought it was just exhaustion manifesting in weird ways. Except, I never felt exhausted. Then, the whispers came. I'd hear them at night, murmuring just below the threshold of comprehension. If I turned on the lights, the voices stopped. If I played music, they slipped beneath the sound wave. No one else heard them. No one else understood what was happening. Because, well, it was just so inconceivable. I mean, you see it in horror movies, but those are just movies. Then, they started getting closer. One night, when I was 16, I woke up to find a man standing at the foot of my bed. This was the first time I'd seen them. He was tall and thin, dressed in a black suit that looked soaked through, as if he'd just climbed out of a lake. His face was wrong. Not distorted, not monstrous, just wrong. Like something had copied a human face but got the details slightly off. His lips were too thin, his nose too sharp, too long, his skin too smooth. But his eyes weren't there at all. Just two hollow voids, darker than the rest of the room. I wanted to scream, to move, to do something, but my body was locked in place. I don't know how long we stayed like that. Minutes, hours. I didn't blink, he didn't blink. He didn't even seem to breathe. And then, just as the sun began creeping through the blinds, he vanished. Like I wasn't even worth his time. Like he was just checking on me, watching over me, making sure I was safe. After that, I saw them everywhere. A woman in the reflection of my bathroom mirror when I got up in the middle of the night, watching me with her mouth stretched too wide, like she was screaming in silence. A child sitting on my floor at 3 AM, smiling as he looked at his toy car dripping in water. A thing, a shape I can't even describe because it was wrong in ways my brain couldn't comprehend, perched on my ceiling, his head crooked like a broken marionette. They never moved when I looked at them directly. They just watched. One night, when I was 18, I got brave, or stupid enough, to whisper, "What do you want?" The man in the suit smiled, slow. I didn't know what he meant. I didn't want to know. But I do know this. Every night, people all over the world close their eyes and sleep peacefully, unaware that something watches over them, keeping them safe. Because something does, and I think I was supposed to die in that lake. I think whatever governs the space between wakefulness and sleep, the thing that lets people drift into unconsciousness safely, I think it missed me that day. I don't think I was supposed to come back, and now I'm stuck, awake in a world where I was never meant to stay, because sleep isn't just rest, it's protection. And when you stay awake too long, they start to notice. They realise you can see them. And now, after 20 years of sleepless nights, the whispers have changed. Not a warning, not a threat, just a fact. Time's up. I don't move, I don't breathe, because for the first time since I was 16 years old, they moved. The man in the suit tilts his head, just slightly. The woman in a mirror curls her too wide mouth into a smile. The child on my floor stops smiling, and the thing on my ceiling, it climbs down. They were never watching over me. They were waiting. And now, I finally understand. I wasn't supposed to come back that day. And tonight, I won't.